I suppose I'll just quickly talk about it. So Necrobook 1 is essentially a replacement to Midas right now. The
Pretty
reason why,
much.
pretty much, right? The only reason, the multiple reasons why it's so good on Spectre is number one, it gives you mana regen. Number two, it gives you strength as well. The units obviously help you farm a hell of a lot faster and add push potential to your team. Essentially, right? Even with the Necro 1 units, you can still push a bit faster. But as well as that, it has scalability because you can take it from Necro 1 to Necro 3, and Necro 3 is really, really good value in terms of an item. Your strength increases even more, the mana regen increases even more, the stats are just amazing. That's pretty much it. Now, the other question was it good that game? I would say, I wouldn't necessarily say it was great that game. I think it may have been necessary to try and maybe go for something different, to try and adapt. But the problem is, I don't know how you would adapt. When you had Ori dominating that mid matchup so hard, I don't think there was a chance. Because the idea with the Spectre is, it's a 4 protect 1, right? You just, you make the space, you push out lanes, you give Spectre all the space in the world. He uses Necrobook to farm the jungle really quick. That's the whole point. And then snowballs out of control. But if you don't get that, which you're relying on the Ember and the Nature's Prophet, and even the Tusk as a support to do, that whole thing falls apart. And in adaptability-wise, it's very hard to switch item builds when you've already bought half the item. You know, you've got 2 Sage's Masks there on the Spectre. Are you really going to be willing to sell those and get something? It's just messy. It's just messy.
Yeah, it is. I think the concept of Spectre joining fights earlier as well is something that's faded out since Haunt was nerfed. It's really down to the timing of Haunt. You can't play aggressive spec because Haunt is 210 seconds level 1. Like, that's such a long timer that if you go for, say, a Soul Ring, if you want to fight around maybe the Urn build with a Blade Mail, you're not fighting that often. So you're not getting gold that often with that build. Spectre is really just a slow hero that needs that space, and EHOME couldn't find that space. But you look at this draft, Mike, it's very different. It's a much faster draft this time. So going through it very quickly, VG with the Grimstroke clinks a lot of value in that first pick, Grimstroke, mind you, because the Pangolier came after that. So they do have decent hold there for the Pango with the Soulbind. Clinks to deal with the Phoenix in this case, and the Ember just to be a highly mobile here with the Grimstroke. We've seen that combo. EHOME's lineup, though, I think it's a lot better than Game 1. Phoenix, Pango, Bane, great team fight coming out. Great laning presence as well. You've got decent hold with Bane to hold down the Ember or the Clinks if they're going to be an issue. And you have the Morphling as well, which can take a while to cook up. It's not as long as a spec. So it's a much faster timer here for EHOME.I. VG, though, they've still got a very fast timer. The Ursa comes out. I'd say VG's draft is still looking a lot stronger. We've seen the Ursa overtake the Morphling in this matchup a ton. Just by getting a fast Battle Fury into Abyssal, or sometimes you don't even bother with a Battle Fury, you just go straight for a fighting build. So VG wants to maintain that tempo here.
I can't quite blame them. And I'm going to say Vici Gaming, I mean, you can probably tell already, but they're seemingly quite confident throughout this the second game draft. And again, you can't blame them based on that Game 1 performance. They did really play quite well. And they haven't used the second reserve time yet. They've still got 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go. I can't remember the last time we saw that.
No, it's been a while. Like, we've seen a lot of teams tick down quite often, but not stay at 210.
No.
So there's a lot of confidence here from VG.
Are they going to ruin it, though?
They are ticking away.
Don't ruin it,
like they might have to dig into it.
Don't do it.
No.
Oh, no, not like this. Oh, they ruined
just
it.
the ban of Viper. That goes to ban.
They used 2 seconds to ban a Viper? Are you kidding, Vici? You've ruined everything. Just shut off the stream. We're done here for today. That's enough.
Oh, for sure. For sure. But it's a Queen of Pain, though. Like, again, this is surprising. Like, we came from Southeast Asia where this was a first pick or first ban with DK. And you come to China where it's a last pick. It just slides right through, and it's still highly valuable here for VG. Because if that mid lane matchup for the Ember is not great, you can toss the Queen of Pain. You can run the Ember elsewhere if you wanted to. You could run the Clinks as core, the Ember as support if you needed to. And EHOME, they do close out with the Invoker. Now, this is not the most awe-inspiring hero to close out with. We've seen the Invoker multiple times across multiple regions. The impact has been middling at best. We'll see just how far EHOME can push it. There is potency there if you get a good start. You have to consider the Morphling Alacrity combination that can come out here. A lot of potency there, but it does feel like Vici's got a tighter draft once more. A lot of aggression in theirs. Decent team fight. They have answers for the Phoenix. They've got answers for the Pango here. EHOME.I, they need to give Shiro space, and Blood has to have a good lane. He can't afford to fall behind. We saw that in game 1. His Invoker has to be online when it needs to be here. It has to hit those power spikes or it will fall behind.
You know what I hate about casting Chinese Dota, John? Is they always have these really cool cosmetics, and I never know what they are. Like, what's that that Ember Spirit cosmetic on Ori? I've never seen the swords in general. Like, in particular, I haven't seen that.
Oh, yeah. That's
what is that?
I have no clue. Wait. No. Okay, I think what's happening is the sword looks like... So there's that skull right now. That's part of Clink's bow, but the swords look nice. I'm not sure where they're from.
Well, I've never seen them. Maybe I have, and I just don't remember. But I swear, every time we cast this region, there's always cosmetics I've never seen. They kind of look really darn cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's even you pointing out the Ember Swords besides the Queen of Pain Arcana. You know, it's right there, Mike. It's in the center stage. You know, you're not acknowledging it, and there's the kid that no one likes. Little pesky kid.
It's just terrible, isn't it? Look at this. What is this? Oh, and he laughs in my face too. I mean, just... You know the Invoker laugh? When you first hear the actual Invoker laugh, it sounds so menacing and so cocky. You know, it really fits the character, and then you get this kid. This punk little kid.
Oh, man. You're not happy about this guy, are you?
I don't like him. Especially when he's picked as a POS 5 or 4 in my pub games, John. It's very upsetting.
Oh, of course. 100% that would be still. I mean, Blood's got a bit of a challenging lane up here, up against Ori. It's like you've got ways to play around it.
That's okay, Mr. Invoker. I'll buy all the wards and stuff. You farm your Midas into an Aghanim Scepter as a support Invoker. You do that. I'll take care of all the rest of the supporting, Mr. Invoker.
Oh no!
Could you imagine?
You sound traumatized, Mike.
I'm 30 years old next year, and I'm supporting this, John. Look at this.
Oh yeah, and Blood's laughing along too. He finds this hilarious, Mike.
Yeah.
He's listening in.
I don't blame him. Still, it's interesting though, right? Back to being serious. Ori's got the Ember this time. So we've seen this before where some players like to take their opponent's hero when we get into the next game, and it's almost like a way of showing them, I'm going to show you how it's done, kind of thing. Now, the Ember vs. Invoker matchup, though, I don't think that really favors Blood.
No, it definitely doesn't. The Invoker just has such a slow ramp-up in the laning phase. It can be tricky to maintain that, and the Ember's got a lot of damage coming out, a lot of ways to dodge out early on. So it's going to be tricky for Blood. If he can last until his level 4 for a little bit more sustained damage, maybe he can balance that out. You already see Blood queuing up an extra set of tangos. He knows he's going to need that regen.
Can't blame him. So Ori will have regen set up for himself as well, which is fairly standard, because you are going to take a fair bit of harass out from this Invoker from a range, but the thing is, for Blood, he can't really afford to get close to this Ember, especially once you get a few more levels up. That Flame Guard damage is really, really high, even at level 2 and 3, and well, Blood, of course, understanding this, will be prepared this time around for this matchup, because it's definitely not anywhere near as bad, but you just saw the damage there. He doesn't even have the Flame Guard, he goes Chain Slider Fist, and even then, Blood just melts.
Oh yeah, I like seeing this coming out from Ori. It's super confident. He's not going to be shoving waves out with the Flame Guard, but he can do a lot of damage if he can isolate Blood. And Blood, I mean, he's shipping out those tangos now, but he's going to have to keep his spacing right, because you don't really want to spend on too much regen here as the Invoker.
I mean, he just had 2 range creeps tonight against him. That's just It's really unfortunate when you have that many range creeps going down
Oh.
at the same time, and yeah, that's a great dodge in that tornado. We'll have a look at the other lanes and we'll get back to watching Ori show off in front of us as Yang and PYW top lane are going to go up against ZZQ and Shiro, and as you can see, ZZQ is having a rather tough time as well. And you know, John, I always talk about how strong the Bane is as a +5, especially in laning phase. It doesn't count when you're up against support clinks, I gotta tell you.
No, it really doesn't. The Bane just cannot trade favorably, and Brain Sap is nice. It's such a long cooldown, though, compared to just searing arrows as an orb effect. So PYW will always trade in the positive, and he can afford to just keep doing that. It's a Clinks, he just needs EXP. You know, he can harass out Shiro as well once he has the Death Pack, and he starts to find a couple of kills. Then the Clinks really starts escalating, so that's something EHOME.I has to be extremely careful about, just how much they allow this Clinks to find on the map.
Of course, down at bot lane as well, you've got YDS and Planet 240. They're up against Eurus and DY once again. Eurus top of the last hits board thus far on that Ursa as well, not really struggling whatsoever. At some point, the Phoenix Pango can get quite annoying to lane against, but Eurus just doesn't seem concerned right now. In fact, he's going to go onto Planet and try and force out that Icarus dive. Planet, wisely enough, doesn't wait too much longer to use it.
Yeah, it's a hard lane for EHOME.I to maintain, though. Like, the fact that they're not slowing Eurus out, and when you compare that to how much Hero's getting on his own safe lane, means that you're starting to see some of those early signs of a slowdown here from EHOME.I. You've got to find a way to balance out those lanes, apply more pressure, and perhaps with Eurus running out of mana, there can be an opening. He does have 2 mangoes ready to go, though.
You look back at that mid lane, Ori, he's quite low in terms of HP. This could be an opening here for Blood. He doesn't really have any supports rotating into that mid lane, excuse me for the hiccup. He doesn't have anyone rotating in to try and help him out here, though. And actually, you'd kind of recommend it at this point that a support does rotate, and Planet is now. I just question whether it's too late. He already committed a salve. PYW is here now as well. Blood. Gonna be in trouble. Could just be a bit of harass coming out from PYW and he'll be on his way. Well, Planet 420 never really made his way down to that mid lane. He kind of just stopped by the power rune to try and secure that. Does take the invis rune for himself. Now he needs to help out his Pango as YDS is being chased down right now. In fact, they'll turn around back onto DY, but now you've got Eurus here. Stroke of Fate connects as well. They can't quite get the kill on the Phoenix, and DY will be able to claim first blood this game.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid pickup for EHOME.I. They do manage to waste a lot of time from VG and take away Eurus from the lane, so he's not farming up. He should be able to find a nice courier pickup, though. That kind of makes up for it. That's a pretty big item in it as well. The buckler of YDS just being slowed down for a minute and a half. It's a little bit more sustained being taken away from EHOME.I in exchange. Overall, VG not going to be too upset at missing out on first blood, but it's still a really good pickup here for EHOME.
Oh, Ori, mid lane does end up getting blood. There's DY rotating in on that Grimstroke. Just as soon as he respawns, makes the TP mid and gets a kill set up. This is just not what you want if you're EHOME.Immortal. Like, you saw what happened last game. You can't really afford to have that happen again. You don't really want to lose the game in the same way, just based on that mid matchup. Not to say that Ori's pulled ahead that far, but you just don't want him to allow to get that far. And right now, he's one level ahead of this Invoker. Which is when problems really start now, because you've got those remnants up, so Blood will have to be very, very wary of his positioning.
Yeah, this is when the Ember can really kick it in, and this is a really good timing for VG, and you see up top, they're still finding kills as well.
Yeah, it's easy Q, he went down. Shiro almost ends up dying as well. He's forced to TP back towards the fountain. They'll try to go down onto DY down a bot lane. Planet 240 should be able to get it. In fact, Blood will take it on the Invoker. Ori, however, he wants to go for something here. He did have an Arcane Rune bottled up, but decides better of it. He'll just return back into the lane and keep farming up. And that is a bit of a brighter side. At least you have found 2 kills now into the position 5 of Vici Gaming. So they are still finding kills, and you could definitely argue this is a much, much better start than last game.
Oh, for sure. Like, you're finding a bit more of an even start in terms of kills. You're not too far behind in that word. Shiro is off to a bit of a slower start on the Morphling in comparison to that Spectre start he was having. So your Morphling is not as fast as it would have been, but it's really just down to the lanes. Not sure if you really want to toss the Morphling up against a level 6 Ursa, though. That doesn't sound like the best of lanes for Shiro to maintain.
It could be tough. Even tougher for Blood mid lane, as there are 3 heroes there now, but well, both supports unable to secure that kill onto Blood will be just forced to rotate somewhere else. And they may just go bot, where Shiro is still trying to fight up against Eurus, but Eurus keeps giving it back. Now PYW is going to show up. They've got a lot more burst potential there with those searing arrows. I'm not really in belief that they're going to go after Shiro, but definitely someone else. In fact, that someone else could be Planet 240. DY takes the outpost. Icarus Dive will be there. The silence was a bit late, but PYW and Ori are going to rotate down to that bot lane, and Planet, he has nowhere to go. He will just end up dying to the Ember. And Vici Gaming, they don't seem to be done yet. They're going now mid lane, connecting those chains off onto the Invoker. Blood going to be in trouble now as well. He should have the Ghost Walk ready to go. He won't need it anyway. PYW never really bothers showing himself, and well, DY couldn't really get there either. So now they go back down to the bot lane, where they'll go after Shiro again, or perhaps even ZZQ. But it seems like they want that Morphling. They get the silence off with the Inkswell. Great Nightmare out from ZZQ, saving the day for a moment, but ultimately he will die, and so will Shiro. And Vici Gaming, it seems like they're ready to start making those crazy rotations again.
Yeah, you've got that early start on Ori. You know, he's ready to be active on the map. You've got the levels on the Ember to get that done. You're starting to pile up the damage on PYW. He started with 0 in those first rotations. He's got 15 death pack damage on hand now. So it's building up for our support Clinks, and you know, you've also got free space for Yang up top. That lane switch out still not quite solving EHOME.I's laning issues. Yang is still perfectly fine trading against YDS, has his urn up and running, so even our Quap is ready to go if VG feel the need to really force a big rotation out.
Absolutely. Well, now PYW going to rotate back up top. You've got 3 heroes around that area. Blood will show himself now, but this is a real shame for EHOME. Although you may be saving someone here from EHOME, I believe Blood probably would have wanted to try and go for some kind of kill here up in that top lane, but seeing that now, Yang is of course going to rush back towards his fountain and perhaps TP to another lane and set up a kill there. And speaking of kills, mid lane, ZZQ nightmaring up Ori on that Ember, but PYW is still there getting out all this damage, and now the Remnant's forward, and as we saw last game, Ori isn't exactly afraid to go underneath tier 1s, and tier 2s for that matter. And they're still going. Blood going to be in a bit of danger here. Eurus is on top of that Invoker. They do have the dust out onto him as well, so Blood, he can't survive, and now Shiro may have overstayed his welcome, but he waveforms out of there immediately, and now YDS going to go after PYW, but do you have detection? No, you do not.
Oh boy, that's reminiscent of game 1 there. They do have a sentry now, just a bit too late.
Meanwhile, Ori ends up getting Planet 240 in the mid lane. YDS is going to keep chasing down DY. Great swashbuckle, honestly. DY going down there. But is it going to be worth losing the Pangolier? Don't know about that one. He's going to try and delay this. And in fact, no, now it's definitely worthwhile. He gets 2 of them. And YDS can die with pride, knowing that he actually got 2 very, very nice pickoffs from himself before he did go down.
Yeah, I mean, those are nice pickoffs. They are supports, though, in exchange for a core. So I don't think VG's still going to be too upset about that, as Ori's building up. Good Tornado from Blood to cancel off and purge off that double damage, though. It's a decent thing to stop Ori from getting out of control, but the side lanes are still a massive issue here. Like, your supports are forced down mid, you're giving Yang a free lane, you're giving Eurus a free start. Both of these heroes are farming up quite nicely. Again, Yang has been sitting on that urn for a while, not really finding the kills for charges, but still maintaining a pretty decent farming pace, and Eurus is actually skipping the Battle Fury, opting straight for the Basher. So Eurus really just wants to go around killing people with an Abyssal to help him out later down the line.
We saw this the other day, and I don't blame him this time round. Like, usually in every other instance, the Battle Fury is just the way to go, but you don't really need the wave clear. You don't need to go late game here. Not into a Morphling. When you've got a lead like this that Vici Gaming already have, the battle build is definitely probably the way to go. And, well, PYW now, up at that top lane there with DY, they're going to go after Blood on Planet 240, it seems. Yang, of course, still holding on to that Sonic Wave, can commit very, very soon. Assuming his team does initiate in, but they are waiting for that creep wave to maybe just push out a little bit. Blood, however, may not be aware that there are supports there for Yang. Of course, PYW will just keep going back and scouting out what's going on when they're out of that vision, and he will see Planet 240, and now they're thinking about this dive. Planet seems to be very wary of this, seeing DY there on the Grim. Never mind that though, bot lane, YDS gonna get jumped on. He has Rolling Thunder, but he'll just try and swashbuckle away first. Now chains out from Ori, and they're gonna have the damage.
It's not the best there for EHOME.i. They were trying to go for that tier 1 in exchange, trying to apply pressure. Instead, they lose out in their offlaner once more. A free kill for Eurus, who is just a recipe away from the Basher. It's going to be really fast timing for our Ursa. And once he has the Basher, not even Shiro is going to be safe from this Fuzzy Wuzzy.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
It's going to be a real problem here for EHOME.Immortal. Top lane. There were rotations being made to counter this this Quap and Grimstroke combo up at that top. I don't know if this was the play though. Planet, he does Icarus dive away, but now Ori's here and can Remnant forward. That he will as well, knowing there's no escape left. The only option you have is the stick charge and egg. He does use the stick charges. He doesn't quite get the egg off though. And now, well, Shiro, he's sticking around. He feels confident in being able to survive, and well, Vici Gaming won't try to make the jump onto the morph anyway. They just seem to be happy with the way the game's going.
I mean, how can you not be happy? It's a 6k advantage, 11-4. Every single core on VG's side just so far ahead of everyone from EHOME.i. It's almost a mirror of Game 1. Not quite as one-sided, but it is still there, that advantage for VG. You look at Shiro's farm, he's at 3.6k net worth. Severely behind Yang, severely behind Eurus. Our Morphling is going to take quite a while to cook up, and you're going to be depending on Blood to try to make some moves. He does have his Hurricane up. It's just...
He's making a move, John. It's just back to the fountain, it looks like. But Rolling Thunder will save him, and now they're going to try and turn around onto that Grimstroke. They'll find DY. EHOME. A lot of rotations made, but they do save that mid-invoker. YDS now. Trying to make the chase on to Ori, but he's got remnants available. There's really no chance of getting this, and in fact, they'll turn around now with the Skeleton Army. And YDS, he just melts so quick once that army is down. In fact, Eurus isn't done. He wants to go after ZZQ. There's going to be the EMP coming out. PYW just tanks through the damage. Now the Fiend's Grip there, going to be onto Eurus. They can burst him down, and they will. PYW, though, no. The Sonic Wave, Yang, comes in and cleans them up. And poor old Morphling, he's been silenced up. He can't go anywhere. It's a full team wipe.
Oh, man. That looked really bad for VG at first because of how far forward Eurus was. In the end, they get that full team wipe in exchange. You're going to be very happy with that result. That was a first time Yang used the Sonic Wave as well. So not bad for a 15-minute first use, and really does pay off. That means Yang has the Spirit Vessel up and running. You've got the minus HP reduction to deal with the morph, and that just makes it really hard for Shiro to play forward. Even Desolator coming out here for Ori, just all in on the physical. And they hit like trucks with that Desolator with a Clinks. We know what happens to the towers and the heroes when something like this does come out.
Yeah, Ori's farming this way too quick as well, by the way. Like, can someone tell Ori he's not playing TA right now? Yeah, I don't know where he's got all this gold, but he seems to have just farmed like a... Oh, that's how. He's 9-0 right now. I mean, I know he was killing people, John. I didn't realize he was 9-0 at 16.5 minutes.
Look at that Roche. Look at it. It's not going to be there. Oh, that's ridiculously fast.
I mean, it's an Ursa, but it's definitely fast even for an Ursa at this time of the game. And now with that Basher, with that Aegis, they want to make use of all these huge items that they just picked up. Just, you look at poor ZZQ on the Bane, he can't even get those Tranquils up yet.
Oh, Planet.
Oh no, Silence is out, he can't dive away, he's going to go down, and ZZQ, he tried to come in and help. There's a Rolling Thunder out from YDS. He might have to use it to just escape this situation, however. Swashbuckle will be there, but they're going to jump in after him.
Ooh. So, not the best. Okay. EHOME.I, they haven't been able to use that egg at all. They haven't been able to team fight in the... Oh no. Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
He's trying to ward. He's got a sentry ward. He's trying to get Vision back onto that high ground and remove the Vision there from Vici Gaming.
It just melts though.
You
That
can't
Desolator is doing a
do it.
lot of work.
It's the great thing about that support Clinks, right? You just can't do those kind of things without being afraid of dying. And now Yang, bot lane, apparently just kills Shiro off on his own.
Yeah, I
Just
mean,
on his
with that
own.
Spirit Vessel, with the Spirit Vessel, you really just can. There's nothing to keep that Morphling afloat anymore. Doesn't have a way of purging it off, and they're going.
Yeah, Blood's dead. Blood's sitting at 3.9k net worth, by the way. YDS.
Ooh.
Yeah, he gets chained up. Sunray gonna heal him up a little bit, but I don't see any kind of survival happening there. And now ZZQ, we've seen this one before. It's at
10-0?
some point, I think you just have to accept the fact that your cores are dead and just leave them and walk away.
Pretty much. Like, you just make the most out of a bad situation. Walk away, try to make use of the space freed up by your course, which is not ideal. But that's the best you can do. Still, I mean, VG, despite all these kills, you know, they haven't made too much progress on towers, which is something we saw from them in Game 1.
DY just gonna go after the Phoenix, sets up, and Yang comes in. In fact, it's Eurus who gets the kill. There's just nowhere free to farm. Look at PYW now onto Blood. Could he do it by himself with that army? I believe he could. He's gonna try.
Oh, yeah.
With the medallion. Oh boy, that was Ori actually coming in with a Deso hit. So it wasn't by himself, in all fairness, to Blood, but Ori's hitting that hard with Sleight of Fist, huh?
Oh,
That's a problem.
They melt like butter. You know, he's just slicing through butter right now as December, and EHOME.I, they just melt right through. They've got no way of holding it together, and I mean, they're trying to farm. It's 15k at 20 minutes, Mike. This is a repeat of Game 1. It's turned into a repeat of Game 1.
Oh, Shiro, he waveformed away. He's trying to get out of there. They will Nightmare him up. EHOME.Immortal, it's a big struggle right now. They could probably still do something to bring their way back, and this is one of those things they could do. They could smoke up. Now, whether that works or not is a different story, considering you just saw the whole team a second ago, and the Soulbind's going to come out now, so ZZQ goes down. YDS going to try and run away. There's that Rolling Thunder, however. He'll go back onto Eurus, and they maybe get this Ursa, but he's got an Aegis anyway. Egg goes down, but Eurus is just going to try and burst it. Yang will finish off the job. Now a double chains out from Ori. They'll find another in the form of Blood, and this poor Morphling gets netted up and does die, and YDS just commits a Sonic Wave. Planet 240 trying to Icarus dive away, but just couldn't even make it. I believe the Shadow Strike just ticked him out.
Yeah,
that's a full team wipe. That was a dieback on the Phoenix.
That is a lot of kills coming out for VG.
GG.
That's it?
Yeah.
20 minutes? That was a fast series, Mike.
VG Gaming today, they obviously showed up. They wanted to play and get their 2-0 victory if they could afford to, and they did. EHOME.Immortal, you see moments of brilliance there, definitely. Like, this is certainly a newer team, right? So we can't be too harsh. Up against a team like Vici Gaming, it's a hard matchup. What else can you say, right? It's just a hard match to have to go after.
Yeah, it really is. And they tried their best, but VG obviously played a lot better. Really dominant 2 games. Props to them. This does mean EHOME.I is out. VG, they still got a shot towards the playoffs. They will have to play the decider match up against the loser of the next series, which is RNG versus IG, Mike.
Thank you for that, John. Now, unfortunately, turns out that's it for you today. Uh,
Oh,
we are
yeah.
having a bit of a switch up. Basket's going to be joining me as an analyst for today, and I believe the second series tomorrow as well. So I'll have the lovely Baskip joining us. He's probably watching right now, for all I know.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just wait and see if he's actually around. But still, John, it's been an absolute pleasure as always, sir. Did you
Of
want
course.
to say anything before you head off for tonight?
Yeah. Hopefully everyone's had fun. More matches coming up, so stick around. Mike's still gonna be here. You won't have to deal with with our ventriloquist act. I'm sure Baskip will show his lovely face. Don't have to deal with that picture anymore. So you guys have fun. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.
Who's going to smile at me when I'm talking?
You smile at yourself, Mike.
But I tried to, John, but things keep breaking. No mirrors in the house. My webcam's all. You know what? Don't worry about it. I'll get Baskip to smile. We'll compare smiles between you and Baskip. We'll see who has the better teeth. I'll behave like a dentist. It's MLP Dota on johnxfire. We'll
Oh,
see.
God.
Well, I'll see you again. Hopefully, very, very soon for that second series of the day. The timer, of course, will be updated on the screen as soon as I know when we are starting the next series. Though, generally speaking, it is usually 15 to 20 minutes before we will start. But again, I will confirm you'll have a timer on the screen within a few minutes. We'll be right back.